but we can't afford to give you the PowerPoints or the textbooks or any of the materials necessary. It is on you, underpaid debt slave. Hello, folks, and welcome to Safely Snorting Bitcoin. In this one, I want to talk about how Bitcoin ended my teaching career. Folks, I taught high school for roughly 7.5 years, roughly 2013 through 2019, and I adopted Bitcoin in the summer of 2018, my first move into it. And less than a year later, I was ready to quit the profession that I had not only trained for years in, but have worked for years in and loved. Less than a year after adopting Bitcoin, I suddenly started seeing through all of the flaws in the current fiat education system. And I want to talk about, why did this happen? What did Bitcoin do to my brain? So with that, I'll start with this. I will say that teaching was never easy. It was hard right away. I was a high school science teacher. And when you start teaching, your degree means nothing at all. I mean, it really is just to make you eligible for the interview. If you think your degree means anything to your superiors, you got a painful reality coming your way. They give you nothing to teach with except a list of standards that you need to cover. You figure it out. Even during my student teaching, folks, even during my student teaching with a veteran educator, she was scrolling through Google trying to find search results for free teaching materials for biology. I mean, this was the first of many big red flags that something was majorly wrong. Just since I had finished high school, in the intervening years there, something major had happened. And these schools they're not wealthy schools, but they're not poor either. I mean, they managed to meet all of their budgetary requirements to pay for all of their local school board oligarchs their fat salaries, but they can't afford a coherent set of teaching materials for a core content class that's tested at the end of the year to determine student proficiency and school funding. But we can't afford to give you the PowerPoints or the textbooks or any of the materials necessary. It is on you, underpaid debt slave. You make the materials. But I did it. I started teaching. That's fine. I'm determined to make it work. But there are some major issues. Folks, teacher quality does not matter. It is entirely possible for a teacher to be awful at their job, but yet the system deems them an effective educator. There's a giant pseudoscientific scam being run on the American public with these student learning objective things, these SLOs that teachers have to do. I have straight up heard the top brass of school districts admit to the faces of their teachers that the SLOs are really a sham, and that you can just make the numbers come out the way that you want them to come out. You want your students to show progress, but not too much progress, because if they show too much progress, then there won't be enough room for them to show progress the next year, because if they don't show progress every single year, you are a failure, teacher. It's every single quarter. Pseudoscience has invaded K-12 education. There's no proof of work in the current education system. I would create my lessons and materials myself. And I taught all period in all my classes to the best of my ability. And compare that to someone like our algebra teacher who could take their students and put them on computers all period every day for the entire school year, and allow some proprietary software to do the work for him. No, you can call him smarter than me if you want. That's fair. But hear me out. First, That system didn't exist for science, and it would be highly frowned upon if it did and I used it. Okay, second of all, how could a rational human being justify equal pay for those two people? One of them is doing a ton of work, and the other one is using their ownership of the classroom system to relegate the work away from themselves. The students see the difference. Trust me, they totally see the difference, folks. They may not even be able to explain to you why one of these educators is more effective than the other. But they know. They just need time to grow up and be able to express it. The K-12 education system needs to have a decentralized power structure that empowers students and teachers. That's it. The two largest demographics in the school building. Teachers need to have autonomy restored to them like they used to have, so that they can teach the material as they see fit, since they are the content experts with degrees in teaching it, or at least if they got some alternative licensure, they've got some training on how to teach the material. No single individual should have the power to evaluate a teacher the way they do now. And I know they try to act like it's decentralized and you'll have one person come in doing an observation and then another person doing a different observation. But it's all predicated on fake science. It is all predicated on fiat rule from above. Rule from above and afar is what I would call it, where they isolate themselves in their little school board office that is way overstaffed and way overpaid. And they like to insulate themselves from the realities of the classroom and sit there and try to make up rules for everyone in the district to follow, with no vetting, no scientific backing at all behind their mandates. You know, I left teaching in 2019 because I was forced out. I was forced out by knowing what Bitcoin was and it waking me up to the ugly truth behind our current fiat education system in the United States. It is no wonder it's failing. It is way top heavy. We have way too many people making rules. There's not enough people to follow them. There's those people that are trying to follow those rules are being intentionally overworked to ensure a high rate of turnover so that you can have green, willing to obey educators constantly flowing into our classrooms. Folks, I don't know how else to say this except for the fact that the K-12 education system needs to be put on a proof of work standard. You know, I don't have some scientific thesis worked out on this or anything like that. I know I'm not the only person talking about this even. I'm probably one of the few, but I'm not the only one. There needs to be a system adopted, grassroots. There needs to be school districts that just start doing this. And that is to give teachers and students all of the power to evaluate teacher performance and to evaluate student performance. The power needs to reside in the actual stakeholders of the system, which are teachers and students. If we have a system like that, every student has a voice, every teacher has a voice, and no one actor can rule the system or corrupt the system. Students and teachers would be nodes, if you will. If you're a Bitcoiner, you'll kind of see where I'm coming from. And the fact that I don't have, like I said, I don't have a structure. I don't have an official theory of how this would all work. I'm just saying I'm here to talk about how Bitcoin woke me up to the realities of fiat education. And really, I'm still in the process of fully understanding how I was lied to, deceived, and sold out by being encouraged to take on tons of student debt to enter a career which is fundamentally underpaid and over mandated. But, you know, as a young, idealistic 20-some-year-old with a passion for science and a passion for teaching it to other people, I honestly felt like I was on the right path. And it really disgusts me when I stop and think that all of the United States' societal breakdown that we're seeing culminate now actually started before I was even born. When the United States came off of the gold standard in 1971, this country's been living on borrowed time ever since. You know, nobody ever stops to tell you that when you're growing up. But, you know, I'm done. I'm absolutely done. You will not catch me in a classroom again unless there is a fundamental overhaul to the education system. And I can tell you this, you may not have lost the best teacher in the country, but they sure as hell lost one who was good at it and who enjoyed it and who actually connected with students and had meaningful intrapersonal relationships that formed a bond that allowed teaching to happen on a level that was simply not happening in many of the other classrooms in my building. But yet I'm the one forced out. I'm the one that had to take a seat and do something else with their life because I was not willing to bow down at the feet of my overlords and do their bidding while I'm earning their little meager wage and making them all look good by putting checkboxes in their pseudoscientific rubrics and SLO papers and forms and reports. All of it is a joke. The K-12 education system needs to be put on a Bitcoin standard, a proof of work standard. I'm done. I'm so pissed off thinking about how I was forced out of my career because the United States came off the gold standard in 1971. You've got to be kidding me. I didn't even have a shot. God almighty, folks. I don't know how you all hold it together in a given day. I get really fired up, and I just don't know how you all handle it. So I want to thank you for putting up with this rant. I hope it gave you some insights into who I am as a person and maybe how I got to be the way I am. I'm typically here to help newbies with this new channel. This is a new channel, so please, if you enjoy the content in any way, if you find value in this, share it with other people. Definitely hit the like button and subscribe, hit the notification bell. It's still early. You're one of the early people to find this channel, so I thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to this, and I would encourage you to stick around on the channel to see what else there is to come. Go back and look at some of my other videos too. Get to know me a little better. But for right now, I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. And this is Safely Snorting Bitcoin signing off.